One word has dominated Formula One in 2026, and that word is battery. Some have referred to this season as the Battery World Championship, or as some of my clever subscribers have put it, Formula Duracell. If you took a shot every time you heard the word battery while watching an F1 race this year, your liver would explode by the first round of pit stops. We now know how bad these 26 regulations are, and the reactions after the Japanese Grand Prix really put it into perspective. But just how bad is it for the drivers? And more importantly, how much control do they actually have over the driving this year? Well, today's video will aim to put you inside the cockpit of these cars during the Japanese Grand Prix so you can get a sense for just how much the battery shenanigans play into the racing. But also just how much coaching is happening from the engineering side in order for drivers to maximize the battery deployment. We'll look at 4 drivers throughout various points of the Grand Prix, including Verstappen, Hadjar, Leclerc, and Russell. Let's start with the Red Bulls. Verstappen and his race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase were fairly quiet for the first few laps, until lap 7 where Max asked for guidance on the battery when fighting other cars.
Please, the radio was poor at the start-finish straight.
You need to advise me first, sir, what to do with the battery when I'm fighting, where then to lift. I hear nothing.
You were maximising the harvest, Max.
The next exchange was on lap 14, when Verstappen encountered some unexpected clipping.
Let's have display.
Suddenly clipping a lot too much, turning up.
Display 3, position 7, or downshifts. Display 3, position 7, stand by.
Now, what was interesting during my time putting this video together was that Verstappen's onboard telemetry during the first handful of laps always paused or lagged during the long straight from turn 14 to the final chicane, and then after it would return to normal for the rest of the lap, until the same spot. Was this a deliberate manipulation from FOM to hide the clipping from viewers at home? We know they've been up to that kind of stuff this year, including deleting comments on social media, but I can tell you that later in the race, it seemed to work normally. So let's take a look at the super clipping on Verstappen's car during the back straight on lap 16. The Red Bull hits a top speed of 318 kilometers an hour and then starts to lose power just before 130R all the way to the chicane. At full throttle, Verstappen loses 45 kilometers an hour worth of speed before hitting the brakes for turn 16. That is just to give you an idea of the amount drivers are losing out thanks to the battery drainage. While the communication between Verstappen and GP is minimal throughout the race, it is the polar opposite for his teammate Isaac Hadjar. The Frenchman was being coached on the formation lap as to the best way to prepare the battery.
The lift off into turn 9. Lift off into turn 11.
Then once again on lap 2.
So adopt lift off to turn 11, lift off turn 11 for sock.
Then the next lap, Hadjar was blown past by Ocon in the Haas and was frustrated with the deployment strategy.
Wait, come on!
So we need no boost button this lap. Recommend lift off to 9 and 11.
It continues on lap 5, in which Hugh Bird, Hadjar's race engineer, explains the throttle technique Hadjar needs to use to optimize the boost.
Okay, so when using boost out of turn 14, you cannot lift and go back to full throttle after turn 15. So you have to keep it flat. Full throttle all the way.
Yeah, why do we figure this out now?
I only sampled a handful of Hadjar's laps, but it continued on for the rest of the Grand Prix. Let's now look at the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. On his side, there was actually very minimal communication about the battery with his race engineer. Just small suggestions here and there about modes, but the majority of their information was related to balance and tire status. Let's have a listen to some of Leclerc's radio from laps 3 and 8.
Our deployment is not great for now compared to the others. Anything wrong?
No, for now this is our expected deployment. If you keep using boost, we suggest mode 1.
But we are close.
Switching to the Mercedes power and George Russell, from lap 8 onwards, Russell received a lot of instruction in relation to battery management, particularly on lap 9 when he was battling for the lead.
George, D-rate exit of 11 or 13. That will just get you higher in the pack.
It was also most interesting to see on lap 37 when Russell seemed to completely lose power and was then overtaken easily by Leclerc.
Yeah, that was good. Really good.
Once again, an issue related to the MGUK and the complicated softwares that run these cars. The more we see 2026 F1 cars on track, the more we learn about just how bad of a direction this 50-50 split really is. Those were just some short samples of how much drivers are relying on their engineers for direction on battery deployment and management. It is no wonder they are not enjoying driving when 15% less throttle is actually faster than going flat out. Formula One has always been imperfect, but we've maintained its status as the pinnacle of motorsport. We cannot say that anymore, however. When you have other racing series such as GT World Challenge Asia openly mocking F1 online, then you know just how far our sport has fallen. This is the problem we have when machine learning algorithms are dictating speed instead of the driver's right foot. Changes need to be made, and they will be. The issue is, will those changes fix the fundamental problems of what is a totally broken formula?